you have questions, I'll be in the courtyard after service. You can sign up on your website. And I already have some people signed up, so I'm really looking forward to getting to know you. Thank you.
Also a sign-up sheet that's on the guest table, and you can just sign up, and then you can offer the suggested donation after the workshop. Thank you for considering that. I think it has great value. A great and powerful teacher here to give a chance to walk through that. Because forgiveness is not an easy thing to do sometimes, and sometimes it requires somebody who has the somebody that can hold you in love. You know, so I hope it's that person. Consider that. We also have other workshops coming up. There just seems to be a string of them right now. So you get more information at the guest table. We have Bodie Star Waters Soundscape Oasis on the 29th. And then remember Marla Toffel did a workshop many months ago, and some of you attended that. She's going to do another one that it can be independent or a continuation of either one. It stands alone. But she's going to do another one on Saturday, November 4th. There's information about that at the guest table. And then finally, we're going to do this volunteer appreciation dinner on November 11th. It's different than the last event we did because it's going to be dinner that's going to be here at the sanctuary. And anybody's welcome to come, and we're honoring the people that keep this center going with volunteering. But the fun of it is it's going to be a good dinner, I promise. And there's going to be this talent show that is incredibly questionable. That will be the fun of it. Okay. Humor, questionable. Talent, questionable. So that's we are okay. We can make fun of it. So we're okay. But that'll be part of the. I guarantee you, entertaining. Okay. So sign up for that as well. We do need you to sign up ahead of time. We need to know how many people will be there. And also just know that our courtyard now, we've got a complete marriage movement. Married or want to have the event, please contact Mary in the office. And also know that we are here for you. Practitioners will be here after the service and be available to pray with you. There's also prayer requests in the lobby online. And practitioners have great pleasure in being able to pray for you. Glad because it's actually our path of Christ. Thank you. And now we begin the sacred part of our service.
I thought you just sing along or just. Everything is unfolding in divine right perfect time. Everything is unfolding in divine right perfect time. Everything is unfolding in divine and perfect time. Everything is unfolding in divine right perfect time.
I'm saying the sound is in and out. They're saying the sound is in and out. I can't, it doesn't sound like
Everything is unfolding in divine right perfect time. 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 In divine
recognize spirit that's within us and around us. There's no place we can be where spirit is not. We also know that spirit is with all those areas in this world where there is conflict, where there is violence. As we know in our own mind, it's difficult to process the events that are happening in Israel and Gaza right now, as well as in Ukraine and Russia. To understand in our human mind, it's not possible, so we just give it to God, give to Spirit. When we know, we find the peace within us. And when we find peace within us and love within us, then we can know peace and love for others. So as I play the sound of the bowl, it's at the vibration of the heart. So breathe into your heart center the sound of the tone. And as you find your own peace, then allow the sound of the tone to move out to the world. And in particular to areas where there is conflict or violence. What I know is that Spirit is the peace within us. And the Spirit is the peace within all people. It is the natural state of Spirit to be this expression of peace. Anything less or more is man-made. Even hear the sounds in the out of the sanctuary of a truck. And yet, just let that sound go and be with the sound of the heart-centered tone. Let the outside world go and be within. As we know this peace for ourselves and peace for all areas of the world. We know Spirit is this peace, and we can trust and count and attune ourselves to this. For this we're grateful. That's it. I'd like to invite Virginia up now. So Virginia is one of our new practitioners, and I thought one way to get her to get to know you and you to get to know her is just let her talk about herself a little bit. She wasn't sure she wanted to do a whole spiritual reflection. She wasn't sure, but I do want you to know the gift she is. And so first of all, Virginia, I'm going to ask you, what called you to being a practitioner? What's your favorite part about being a practitioner? How do you see yourself serving?
I love the affirmative prayer. I partake with the practitioners on Tuesday morning, doing the prayer. And I've been working with Jay for a year and a half now, assisting with the solstice and equinox celebrations. And I would like to bring more of that nature-based orientation of spirituality to the center. Really love ritual and going deep within, and the unification of body, mind, and spirit I feel when I focus on God and nature in that way.
Yeah. It's funny, in some circles, being a pagan is considered an insult. Here it's a compliment. We honor your paganism.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm coming out of the closet in front of y'all.
That's great. And what is it about prayer that really do you feel is transformative?
Well, it's really interesting because having been a pagan, I feel that the 5 steps of affirmative prayer are a lot like what we would do when we would do a ritual. You get very, very in tune with spirit, whatever form that takes for you, and know that you are that. And then you plant the seed of what you want to manifest, and you just let it go. And you have faith and trust, and you know that it is already coming into fruition. In fact, in one of the classes, the first time we started doing that, I said, this is just like casting a spell. I can't believe I just said that out loud. But life is magic, so let's embrace it.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
All right, let's give Virginia a round of applause. A little more music now.
Star seeds rise, your heart's drum is calling you home to stand and be the light shining through the shadows of darkness to heal the wounds of life. We shine, we are one true love divine. We are wisdom realized. Star seeds rise, we stand as one. We are one breath burning bright. We are sacred soul inside. Star seeds rise, we stand as one. Sing after me. Star seeds rise, your heart drum is calling. Star seeds rise, your heart drum is calling. Star seeds rise, your heart drum is calling. Star seeds rise, your heart drum is calling.
Beautiful, I love that. And what I about this drum beat, this calling, when I have a sense of that, it's not, it's ancient. It's really ancient. So thank you, beautiful song, to have that sense of that. So grateful to be here today, so grateful all of you are here today. We are continuing this theme of abundance in the tree of life. It's interesting because I had some, I heard kind of through the grapevine that one of the owners of the houses behind us was concerned about the tree, our big oak tree that's right over the top of us, because it was dropping so many leaves right now. Yeah, that's what trees do. So they wanted us to cut a bunch of branches so not so many leaves would fall.
Oh.
But then some other neighbors came and told me, oh no, we had a dinner the other night and we love that tree. We don't want anything done to it. In fact, he said, I was on your website and reading about how you think of that tree as a tree of life, and we love it. And we resonate with that. So it was really a nice affirmation about what we're doing. Even to people that might not come here on Sunday morning, they resonate with our teachings. They hear what we are putting out into the world. And I feel this is the truth of who we are and the abundance that we bring forth in so many ways. And this is the month of abundance, and we see this idea of the tree from the very roots, as we have, we believe in the symbol of the tree in so many ways. And by the way, when I was at the Congregation of Shalom on Wednesday night, they had a vigil for support for peace in Israel. And all over their sanctuary, there's a bunch of paintings of trees, because they found part of their foundation is a tree of life also. And it's their beliefs, just like paganism, just like Judaism, there's a lot of universal teachings, and those are the teachings that we correspond here. So this idea that this tree from the very root is spirit itself, and spirit is this flow that, like the sap in the tree, like the blood in our bodies, that flows, that is not, the source is not a creator, but creativity, a universal creativity that can flow through us. So it's not something out there that we seek its favor, we seek its approval if we are devout enough, but instead we allow it, we know it to be so, we recognize it, we realize it. And so this idea that we are, there are certain steps in affirmative prayer we have that we talk about, but it's really just the way of the Spirit is exactly what Virginia was talking about. We recognize, we unify, we know that all there is God, and then we realize. And to me, in a lot of ways, this is just like the tree that moves up, that we recognize the roots of where we are, the very core of our being. We stand strong in this clarity that God is all there is, and we're one with all of life, that we're connected to. And from this foundation of the roots and the trunk, then we branch out. And we can realize our truth. And when we're talking about realizing something, it's a declaration of what we know to be true. Because if we are connected with all of life, and we are all life through us, in us, then to know peace, to know that we are lovable and loving, creative, powerful beings is easy to know because we are God. I remember Ram Dass, the spiritual teacher. I love his story about he was visiting his brother who was designated or diagnosed as having a mental disorder, with schizophrenia. And his brother said, I don't understand it, Ram, that I say I'm God, and they put me in this home. You say you're God, and they pay you money. No, wait. He said the difference is, I say I'm God, and I know all of you are God too. And that's what I know. I am God, and you are that same God that connects us in this way. The same tree of life connects us all in all ways. And we know that the grace and goodness that we begin to realize, the truth of who we are, the power and the love we are, is this deeper connection that we can have. And so expressing love and peace and healing and liberation and freedom is an emanation of who we are and how we show up in the world. And when we talk about abundance, we're not talking about necessarily a monetary thing, but it's an abundance of all life that we can experience. We know that we can be, people can be wealthy without a consciousness. They can have lots of money but never have that happiness because they don't have the inner sense of there's a whole teaching, if you want to call it, that's done in Christian churches called the prosperity gospel. And it teaches that you can transcend poverty and or illness through devotion. And that if you are devoted enough, then you receive God's blessings as well. Well, the problem is that there are many people who are very devoted. You're trying to do it by your personal will. And do some of those people succeed, their personal will, succeed in a worldly way with finances? Yes. But they don't have that inner realization, that inner healing, that inner knowing within them, which is the through me. So what I always recommend for people is to come from this place of heart and soul, to drop down into the heart center, to know our oneness, and be with this idea of this tree of abundance, this allowing this to come through us. The tree does not leaf out because it suddenly decides like, oh, I think I'll leaf out now. It leaves out because it pulls in from all the minerals and the fungi and the soil and the water, and it brings it up. And it is connected to all of life, all the trees around it, all the life around it, and then it manifests. Now sometimes we may not see Spirit's work in our life because, I stopped believing in the God out there a long time ago. So we don't see God. It's invisible, genderless, formless. But we see it through its works in the world. So I don't know about you, but yesterday at about 9 o'clock I was doing this. Anybody else doing this yesterday? I know it looks silly, right? But I was looking up at the sun and watching the eclipse. For a long time, I thought we weren't going to get to see it because it was cloudy. But it did show up. It showed up, and was able to see the sliver of the sun. Similar, if you didn't see yesterday, the sliver of a new moon that you could see through. And these glasses are so dark, I can't see anything. That you have to have something very bright to see through. But it's very powerful. But I think that's like Spirit moving through our lives, that sometimes we don't see it unless we have an awareness. But even then, we may not see it. We have to have the faith to know the Spirit's working in our lives, even if we're not able to see it. Even if we don't have these special glasses, because sometimes we don't have these special glasses, but we know Spirit's working in our lives. And the reason we know it is because in our heart center, we can feel it and sense it. And allow it. Allow this groundedness we feel and realize the truth. To know this deeper self. Roger Teal, in the book called This Life is Joy we've been talking about, says this invisible intelligence that creates anything dwells both within and around that creation. Therefore, we all dwell within the dance of the invisible, the creative genius of the universe. So today, in this idea that I want to talk about abundance, I want to talk about 3 keys to our abundance, 3 ideas that we will be talking about. And first of all, I want to say, when I was in Austin a couple weeks ago, I was going down the highway and I saw this big sign that caught my attention. You can tell why it caught my attention. Do good, love big, live now. Now, when I researched it, it was actually from a brewery, which makes sense in Austin. But it actually is called Fast Friends Brewery, and they have a nonprofit attached to the brewery that is creating positive change and inspiring people to do good, love big, live now. And really, what caught my attention about that is that's what we're doing here. We are doing good, we're loving big, and we're living now, right? And what I know about this abundance is you'll hear more, I talk about it all the time, but I'm going to re-emphasize it today, that in the now, living now, is where you can experience your abundance. You can't experiences in the past of concerns about mistakes you might have made, or in worries of concerns about the future, about where the next money's coming from to pay the bills, or just to where, how you're going to retire, whatever that is, that we can find our abundance right here and right now. So the first key to creating this abundance in our lives is to hire God as our consultant. Hire Spirit as your consultant. Now, we kind of laugh about this, but in businesses or in life, you have a counselor, a guide. You need to allow Spirit to be that one you consult with when you want to understand, when you want to realize, when you want to create. Allow Spirit to be that guide in what you do, to create this positive change, to be that change. And through that, when you allow that, you can do good, and not in the way necessarily that you think you should do it, or that you think is called for it, but it's the way that's the highest and best. It's like platinum level, we talk about the platinum rule, about and not just the golden rule where you seek to treat others as you want to be treated, but the platinum rule is treating others as they want to be treated, to ask them. But another level is treat others, because we can't always ask people questions about them. Treat others how God moves through us to treat others. It's not made up, it's a realization, this connectedness we are, and allowing this to be this motivation for all that we are. And we can be guided to connecting. Many years ago, probably 5 years ago, or maybe more, Mae McCarthy came here, and she talked about hiring Spirit as your CSO, your Chief Spiritual Officer. That's another way to look at it. But the idea is seek ye first the kingdom within, and all things will be added. We don't have to worry about it. Jesus was talking about the lilies of the field, the birds of the sky, they're all provided for, that we just need to allow Spirit to be within us, and all things are taken care of. And also this idea of what ours do, because sometimes it is difficult to know in this world that many needs, our own and others, is what is ours to do, because we can't do it all. And so it can be overwhelming. I sat in this room this week with some interfaith leaders. It's part of the interfaith group that I'm a part of. And we had a Lutheran, a Buddhist, a Muslim, a Unitarian Universalist, a Methodist, and myself sitting in this room. And we were all grieving the violence that was taking place in Europe, in Israel. And thinking there had to be another way to do things. But we didn't know what that was, so we spent some time in prayer and meditation. The Buddhist priest that was with us offered us a loving kindness meditation. It was really nice about may you be at peace, may you be well, and then we said may they be at peace, may they be well. And it was really nice. But also the Lutheran minister offered this really wonderful idea about when we're seeking for things to do, to find where Spirit is already working through others and join in. And to me that was very inspiring, because it means I didn't have to do it all myself. I didn't have to create something out of nothingness and then try and get people involved in it, try and get them to do it. Find where Spirit is already working and join in. I know the pro-inclusion group has continued and brought more people in, because there were people, for instance, the guy that rented the U-Haul truck and put the sign out on Brown Street. He did that for a month. I noticed he's not doing that anymore. But then now he's part of this pro-inclusion group, because he said, why am I doing something by myself when there's a group of people already doing things? Now, it doesn't mean that we don't We don't add something to it, or we amplify what they're doing. I believe that's part of our work of spirit is to hear people, listen to people, and also affirm them, mirror back to them the goodness of the work they are doing, and the power and the love and the joy they are right where they are. To say, gosh, you're doing this. It's incredible. You're such a light in this world. You're such a power presence. You bring your smile. It makes me smile. Whatever that is, and to affirm that. So it's more than listening, it's affirming. So affirming the work that's already being done. In whatever way that is. On Wednesday evening, I mentioned I was at Congregation of Shalom. I was invited to offer support for that community in Israel and offer prayer if I so wanted. Just one of a handful of people, but I was the representative of the interfaith group, is why the Rabbi Niles invited me to. And at first I said yes, because right away it's the right thing to do. And yet when I thought about it, sometimes when you say yes, you go, oh my God, what am I going to say? What do I have to offer these groups? Jews that are hurting so much. They feel threatened, and there's concerns about repercussions here in the United States. And I said just violence against Jews. And so they were in grief, despair, fear. And so I just asked God, God's my consultant. Spirit, what to do. It was just to say they're alive, they're supported. And that we hear them, and we see them, and we care about them. And then to lead them through just knowing their peace. Knowing peace for all places, just like it did today in our meditation. And people seemed to appreciate it. There were other people that spoke, and just the whole thing, I think, brought some comfort. It doesn't mean we solved all the problems over there, but it means we found a way to find peace beyond understanding. There's no understanding. Never know. Who would know what's vital? But we can be at peace, and we can know peace, and we can know peace for other people. And know the peaceful ways of found through all of this. So with God as our consultant, we can do good in the world. We can be aligned, and we can find this. And the second key I want to talk about today is to reset our money mindset, or just our mindset as a whole. There are many tools out there, spiritual tools you hear about, prayer, meditation, forgiveness work, which, changing our story, our gratitude practice, our inner work on our worthiness, which all work. Choose one and practice it. But all of those, the result, what you're looking for is to live now, to be present, to not let those things from the past or worries from the future affect you, to open up the Spirit and allow Spirit to come through us, as us, and feel this abundance in the way we just live now. What's interesting about these ideas that, New Thought's been talking about for centuries, and probably if you go back to the wisdom, the ancient wisdom that we tap into, that we also teach here, they've been teaching about it for, eons. But now with the new science that's coming out, a man named Shirzad Shaman, which has done some research about positive intelligence. And so what he's done is he's done some research with functional MRI scans. So not only doing these scans, but seeing what different stimulus, how it will change your brain and in the scan. And what he's found is he's simplified, I think,
the idea of the brain. But I think it's a great start. And so much that I'd like to teach a seminar in January about it, about spiritual fitness, I think is what the title, working title for it would be. But it's talking about that he says there's two different parts of our brain, the saboteur and the sage. And the saboteur is just about survival, and the sage is about thriving. So very different. So if you think about the saboteur, it's a response in our brain, a negative emotion to life's challenges. And it mostly, you can experience as stress, anxiety, anger, shame, guilt, frustration, negative mind chatter. The truth is, it's not, that's just the symptoms, by the way. So stress is a symptom, but it's really caused at the level of our soul and our heart and our brain that causes that. Now, it has a purpose. That part of our brain, the reptilian part of your brain, some people call it, it warns you of possible danger, to alert you to pay attention to your environment, to run away from the saber-toothed tiger or from an abusive relationship, whatever that is, to create safety. But the problem is it creates a track in your brain, a pattern in your brain to continually feeding that stress. And what's interesting about that, I think, as a whole, I don't know about in Europe, but here in the United States, since the pandemic, a lot of us have been stuck in a rut of negative thinking. I mean, here we have relatively good economy, jobs that are well-paying, and overall things are in pretty good shape, but over half of the people in this country thinks that the economy is in ruins. And they pine for a time how it was before, even though they can't name when that is or how it was then. They just want a different time. And really what they're wishing for is a time when they didn't feel stressed, anxious, angry, shameful, guilty, frustrated. That's what they're wanting. And you're not going to find that in wanting something in the past. You're going to find it in this moment right here. And so this guy's research goes on to talk about that we can tap into this inner sage, which is the thrive region, which are positive emotions while handling these life challenge. And these include compassion, gratitude, curiosity, joy of creativity, calm, clear-headed, a laser focus action that we can have from this clear-headedness. And I want to say one thing about curiosity. We were talking about this earlier. So just for the children and youth in the audience, how many people, adults here, were told as a kid that we asked too many questions? And how many people are glad we asked so many questions? So keep asking questions, okay? Even when people say you ask too many questions. Because it is in curiosity that we learn, it is in curiosity that we open up to a greater way of being, that we're not stuck in this rut. And this inner sage, I love this concept because really it ties in. Now, he's a scientist, he's presenting something secularly. But this inner sage is, to me, when we tap into spirit, when spirit is our consultant, then that is our sage. It's our inner wisdom that we can tap into and guide us in this way. And he talks about the ability to intercept our brain waves and reroute them to a new way. Now, this requires mindfulness. It requires repetition. It requires us to be aware that sometimes we go, oh, I was being human right now, or I was being negative. I need to reroute my brain into this. And he says there are tipping points he's found that are part of this research that he saw mind scans being changed from the negative to the positive. And he said, it's interesting, all he did in this while somebody was being scanned is invited them to notice something like a flower or a photo of a child being joyful, or a certain kind of music, and it changed their state of mind to positive. This is just coming present, folks. This is the same thing we've been talking about, but it's brain research that backs it up. So I invite you to take, put something on your desk or in your home that brings you joy, a flower, go outside, take a breath in the sun. Just for a moment, perhaps every hour he suggests, or when remember, set your alarm to be a part of this, but to come present. And we find our abundance in that place. And when we can find this tipping point to thriving, then we're living now in the fullness. And I mean, this photo right here, when I look at this photo, that's all I can think of, right? Find something that just brings you present, letting go of other thoughts other than just that moment. And the third key is to dance in the garden of abundance. And what this means, we have been told stories as Protestants growing up, or probably Catholics too, that we were kicked out of the Garden of Eden because we ate of an apple. Well, eating the apple was just curiosity. It was eating something. We weren't forbidden. We were just told we would be like the gods were if we ate of that tree of knowledge. And when we become human, and sometimes we forget about where the garden is. We can return to this garden by allowing Spirit, just being present in this place of nowness. And from this garden, we can love big because nothing stands in our way. We can feel our abundance, and we can feel this love, and we can share this truth that we know, whether it's verbally or just energetically, or just being present with someone to affirm them. We don't have to say anything to someone. It's not about us, right? We can just allow the truth of who we are and to sit in this sense of wonder, remember, not a creator, not something outside of us, but the creativity that's within us, this universal presence, and just open up to questions and sit in the silence. Like, in this situation that I'm struggling with, what would love look like? What would it sound like? What would be my experience? Allow Spirit to reveal in you a pathway of healing. A pathway of showing up to a friend that's really hurting right now. Like I did that with the Jewish community. How can I show up and be supportive of them? How is Spirit seeking for me to be abundant in the world? How can I feel more abundant? How can I be more abundant? How is Spirit seeking to become and be through me in this way? There's a great story in the Bible about Esau and Jacob. In Old Testament, these are Isaac's twin sons. And it's fascinating because Esau was the oldest, and the biblical way was that Esau would receive the inheritance, his father Isaac's inheritance. And Esau and Jacob was upset about this, and he believed he was more devout. He studied sacred scripture more. He prayed more. He deserved to get this inheritance. So he tricked his father, who was losing his sight and hearing toward the end of his life, and put on sheep's clothing to make his arms seem hairier, like his brother was hairier, and tricked his father into giving him this blessing, which meant he would get the inheritance. Well, and his brother, and it worked. But his brother found out, and his brother threatened to kill him. And so he had to leave anyway because he was trying to trick somebody. It didn't work. He was doing by me kind of things, not allowing Spirit to come through him. So he left for 20 years, and finally decided it was come back home to experience abundance again. Whether it was his or somebody else's, he needed to go back home. And I relate to this because many of us, including myself and many of you, have left a spiritual path for a period of years and have come back to it when you're 40 or 50 or 60 years old. So this is like 20 years later, a generation later, when Jacob came back. And what's fascinating, on the way back, on his journey back, he stopped at a place he stayed for the night, and he opened up to Spirit and wanted to know, just sought curiosity about what is Spirit, what is his abundance, what is Spirit moving through him. And he had this vision of what's now called Jacob's ladder. And it was a vision, a dream of the staircase that went to heaven, and there were angels coming up and going down and coming up, and there was a movement, and realized he was in that staircase, that he could transcend to the spiritual level anytime he wanted. And it wasn't a one-time thing after we die, but it was always a flow of Spirit. And from this place, he could experience his abundance. It wasn't about trying to trick his father or trying to placate his brother in any way. But he found forgiveness, he found truth, and he found love, and he found a way to love big. And this is what we can do when we're in a place of the garden. So we're going to have some fun here now. Astra has this thing called what is it called? A loop station. She's going to play this song about the Garden of Abundance. So take it away.
Here we go. La 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 I play in the garden, I play in the prosperity. Oh, I dance in the garden, I dance, I dance in the prosperity. Oh, I tended and it grows. I love it and it grows. I trusted and it grows. A new reality. I tended and it grows. I love it and it grows. I trusted and it grows. A new reality. I play in the garden. I play in the garden. I play in the prosperity. Oh, I dance in the garden. I dance. I dance in the prosperity. Oh, I play in the garden. I play in the garden. I play in the garden of prosperity.
So what I know is this garden is the Spirit universal knowing that we can enter anytime we want to. There are no gates, there are no locks, there are no restrictions. We don't have to do or be anything. We simply need to step fully into this and experience this abundance. And I know it is ours right now, that we are in this place of oneness and unity, and we play and experience our full abundance. both all of you gathered here and us as a center in this abundance. And for this, we're grateful. And so it is. Thank you. That was great, Astra. That was really lovely. I loved how you did that all a cappella too. So, yeah. So could the ushers come forth, please? This is a time that we invite you to be part of the law of circulations. If you are new to our community, you can just observe and send us love. As a matter of fact, I've seen many people do this as the offering basket is passed. Some people just put in a little bit of love, and we love that. We'll receive your love. And what we know is that that which you give circulates in giving and receiving. It comes back to you. There are many ways to give, including right here or online. We appreciate all the ways. So let's take our hand and put it over our heart to represent that which you are giving today or you've already given to us in the past, and repeat the affirmation. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I circulate. And so it is.
All right, so I want you all to sing along with me now. Here we go. You got the idea.
La 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 la. I play in the garden. I play in the garden. I play in the garden of prosperity. I dance. I dance in the garden. I dance in the garden. I dance in the garden of prosperity. I tend it. I tend it and it grows. And it grows. I trust it and it grows. A new reality. I tend it and it grows. I love it and it grows. I trust it and it grows. A new reality. I play in the garden. I play in the garden. I play in the prosperity.
I think I need a track of that for when I wake up in the morning just to play that. So that's great. I wanted to give you an update. Many of you know that we are in the season of inviting you to be part of the Card of Intention for 2024. And if I can get back to this slide. So this is inviting you to let us know what your intentional giving will be for 2024. It helps us plan our budget. But it also sets a spiritual practice of giving for you that's intentional and allows you to give towards our vision and mission, as well as give from gratitude about what you receive here. So we appreciate that. So this didn't count ones that came in, but as of last Sunday, we have $19,000 in intention so far. We've got a ways to go, but that's a great start. So let's give ourselves a round of applause. And also, I would like to welcome once again those people who might be here for the first time, whether online. We always appreciate our online attenders, or people who are here in person. So if you could raise your hand if you've been here, you're here the first time, we have something for you. We appreciate new people. There's fellowship afterwards. We have coffee and lots of time. Casper, what do we do when we're talking with people? We ask, what do we ask? If you're curious, you do what? And we can ask questions. So we can ask each other questions and listen to each other, right? So thank you for being here. We have a special blessing for you. I can get through a lot of slides here. It's here eventually. There it is. There it is. So let's raise our hands to our new people. Yep. And we say, We bless you today, knowing that the peace and happiness you seek is also seeking you. We honor your inner radiance as you let your light shine in the world. We are grateful for your presence in our community, and so it is. So do join us in the community and look for those workshops and classes that are coming up for the next 4 weeks. There's just a whole sequence of them. We're trying to get them in before Thanksgiving. So we so appreciate you and thank you for visiting with us from near or far away. Let's all stand for the congregational affirmation. Repeat after me. Something wonderful is happening through me right now. I'm led by Spirit. I'm guided by wisdom. I am protected by love. I'm here to be a blessing. I'm so grateful. And so it is. Let's invite our kids to come in. And kids from the Netherlands can come up here too if they want to. Come on up, Casper. It's so great to have a kids program. Thank you, Mary Ward, for doing this. We also want to honor Sherry Reeves, who did it for so many weeks, and she did a wonderful job, and now she decided to step back. So we're looking for new people to help with the youth program. If you're interested, please let Mary or me know. So we're grateful for all the kids we have. We're going to raise our hands, and we say, so we see you, we hear you, we're here for you, right? Okay. Okay. Well, let's before they say it, let's say it what they're going to say. We love you.
We care about you.
And we're here for you. Okay, raise a hand. We love you. We care for you, and we're here for you. Thank you for being here. And now our closing song.
Love be with you, peace enfold you, spirit lift you, breathe it in, truth come through you, make good flow to you, let joy renew you, till we meet again. Love be with you. Love be with you. Love be with you. Love be with you. Love be with you.
Forth, love big, and may love be with you. And so it is. Have a great Sunday.
Thank you.